Is Russia losing momentum? What the latest data shows. A shift is happening, but it's not loud. It doesn't arrive with dramatic headlines or sudden collapse. Instead, it shows up in quieter ways. Slower growth in certain sectors, changing prices in everyday goods, and subtle adjustments in how people live and work. The numbers tell part of the story. Trade flows, currency movements, consumer spending. But the full picture only emerges when those numbers meet real life. Some signs point to resilience. Others suggest pressure building beneath the surface. And when you connect those signals, a more complex question begins to take shape. Economic growth is slowing, but not collapsing. Recent economic data suggests that growth has continued, but not at the pace seen in earlier periods. Some sectors, particularly those supported by public spending or energy exports, have remained active. Others, especially those reliant on imports or international cooperation, have faced more visible strain. Many observers believe this reflects an economy adjusting rather than declining outright. According to available data, industrial output has remained stable in some areas, while consumer-facing industries show more uneven patterns. This creates a split experience. On paper, the economy continues to function. On the ground, the picture is more mixed. Some regions and industries remain busy, while others feel noticeably slower. And when growth becomes uneven, it often signals a shift rather than stability. The ruble's fluctuations tell a deeper story. Currency movements often act like an early warning system. The ruble has experienced periods of sharp movement, weakening at times before stabilizing again through policy measures. According to available data, export revenues, especially from energy, have helped support the currency. At the same time, capital controls and regulatory actions have played a role in limiting volatility. However, many analysts suggest that this stability requires active management. It is not simply the result of balanced market forces. For businesses and households, this matters. A fluctuating currency can affect everything from the cost of imported goods to long-term financial planning. Even small shifts in currency value can be felt in daily life. Higher prices for certain items, changes in availability, or adjustments in spending habits. These are not dramatic changes, but they are persistent, and they shape the real situation over time. Trade has shifted, not stopped. One of the most significant developments has been the redirection of trade. Traditional routes have changed, and new partnerships have become more important. Reports suggest increased trade with countries across Asia and other regions. Energy exports continue to play a central role, helping maintain revenue and economic activity. However, the structure of these relationships is different. Many economists note that new trade routes can involve longer logistics chains, different pricing agreements, and increased reliance on intermediaries. This doesn't stop trade, it reshapes it. For businesses, this can mean adapting supply chains and adjusting expectations. For consumers, it can affect product availability and pricing. Over time, these shifts begin to redefine how the economy connects with the rest of the world, quietly influencing both global news narratives and everyday realities. Consumer behavior is quietly changing. Consumer behavior is often one of the clearest indicators of underlying economic trends. According to available data, spending patterns have shifted in subtle but meaningful ways. Some households are focusing more on essentials, while discretionary spending has become more selective. Imported goods, where available, may carry higher prices or longer wait times, leading to increased demand for local alternatives. Many observers believe this reflects adaptation rather than decline. People adjust their habits, find substitutes, and continue their routines. But these changes can signal deeper shifts. When millions of small decisions, what to buy, where to shop, how much to spend, begin to change in similar ways, they create a broader pattern. And that pattern often reveals more than any single economic indicator. Labor market pressures are emerging. The labor market continues to function, but signs of imbalance are becoming more visible. Reports suggest that some industries are experiencing shortages of skilled workers, while others are seeing reduced activity. In certain sectors, wages have increased in response to demand. However, inflation and rising costs can offset these gains, leaving overall purchasing power relatively stable or only slightly improved. Many analysts point out that labor market conditions vary widely by region and profession. In some areas, opportunities remain strong. In others, uncertainty is more noticeable. This unevenness can gradually affect momentum. When some parts of the workforce move forward while others slow down, it creates a fragmented picture, one that suggests adjustment rather than uniform progress. Government spending is playing a key role. Public spending has become one of the central pillars supporting economic activity. According to available data, increased government investment has helped sustain industries, maintain employment, and stabilize certain sectors. Many observers believe this approach has been effective in the short term. Infrastructure projects continue, salaries are paid, and key industries remain operational. However, some economists suggest that heavy reliance on public spending raises long-term questions. Sustainability depends on consistent revenue and the ability to balance competing priorities. For everyday life, government spending can create a sense of continuity. Services remain available and economic activity continues. But beneath that stability, there is often a complex balancing act, one that requires ongoing adjustment as conditions evolve. Inflation and cost of living pressures. Inflation has been another important factor shaping the current situation. According to available data, prices have risen in certain categories, particularly where supply chains have changed or imports have become more expensive. In response, policies have been introduced to manage inflation and stabilize prices. Many observers note that these measures have had some effect, but not uniformly across all sectors. For households, inflation is often experienced in practical ways: grocery bills, transportation costs, and everyday expenses. Even modest increases can influence how people budget and spend. Over time, these pressures can shape behavior. People may become more cautious, prioritize essentials, or delay larger purchases. And while these adjustments are gradual, they can collectively influence the broader economic momentum. Everyday life reflects subtle adjustments. Perhaps the most revealing insights come not from official reports, but from daily life. In many areas, people have adapted to changing conditions with a quiet sense of resilience. Products may be different, prices may have shifted, some services may take longer or operate differently, but life continues, often with small adjustments that become part of a new routine. Many observers suggest that this is where the real story lies, not in dramatic shifts, but in consistent, subtle changes that accumulate over time. In global news, these everyday experiences often provide the clearest window into what's happening. They show how large-scale economic translate into real situations, how policies, markets, and trade flows ultimately shape how people live. And when those daily patterns begin to change, even slightly, they can signal something deeper unfolding beneath the surface. Momentum rarely disappears all at once. It shifts, adapts, and sometimes slows in ways that are easy to miss at first. The latest data suggests an economy adjusting under pressure, not collapsing. Whether those adjustments lead to stability or further change is something only time and everyday life will fully reveal. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.